That what you just did is called an elite transition.
Oh.
Is Doc Pandya on the line right now?
Yeah, he sure is.
Hey, look at that. Hey, emergency Pandya. Brock Purdy is starting. Steph Curry's getting an MRI. Hey, real quick, Doc, thank you for calling. First of all, what's your reaction to Purdy playing tonight? Any chance, do we see normal Purdy, or are they going to have to kind of change the game plan a little bit?
I think there'll be a heavy dose of running and maybe some short passing, and I think the key thing for him is avoiding contact. So we shouldn't see too much him moving out of the pocket, moving around a lot. So I think we'll see a lot of runs. This could be the 40-50 carry run game for the Shanahan offense tonight.
I love the emergency Pandya here, but the emergency is not so much Brock Purdy's oblique as it is Steph Curry's shoulder. Doc, I know you have a little bit more medical experience than I do, but I think that it's a labral tear of some measure. What do you think about the Steph Curry shoulder injury?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, when you kind of look at the videos and stuff like that and someone grabs their shoulder, you worry about a shoulder subluxation, which means that the shoulder potentially started to pop out and pop back in, and that will cause some labral damage. It didn't look like a full dislocation. People were saying maybe it's a muscle strain, maybe not. I mean, you see some of the videos, and it looks like his shoulder potentially was shifting out a little bit. Good news for Warriors fans, unless there's some sort of massive labral tear, you're talking a couple-week recovery for a subluxation. Even a dislocation is only 4 or 5 weeks. So, for most players. So, yes, I worry about a labral tear. I don't think any of this is going to be season-ending, but it could be season-altering for the Warriors, which is the concern.
Doc, just give us a real quick length of time, best case, worst case.
Okay, so best case, muscle strain, you're talking maybe 1 to 2 weeks. Shoulder subluxation, 3 to 4 weeks. Dislocation, around 7 weeks.
Okay, all right. Hey, Doc, thank you so much for calling in. Great to hear you.
No problem. I listen to you guys all the time. I'm a fan, just like everyone else.
Call
Thanks,
again
Doc.
next hour. You know what I mean? We'll check. We'll check in on Dibs' injuries, which do sometimes change hour by hour.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks. Thanks, Doc.
Be careful getting up and walking to the restroom during the next break. I don't want you to strain anything.
But I did have the torn labrum, which is why I know about the labral tear in the shoulder. Mine far worse than what Steph hopefully underwent, because when your shoulder dislocates, as Doc was saying, a lot of times your shoulder can dislocate and it goes right back in. In my case, the last time I dislocated it, it did not go back in, which indicated a full labral tear. When you have a partial tear of your labrum, the labrum holds the shoulder in place. So when you dislocate it, the labrum tears momentarily and you can put it back in, but the tear is still in existence.
Sure.
So we hope that it's just a muscle thing for Steph, but I fear that it was a partial labral tear, which if you don't do anything for 4 to 6 weeks, that thing can quiet down to the point where you don't need surgery.
So just based on his best case, worst case, first of all, this is terrible news for the NBA.
And for Christmas,
Terrible news for the Warriors. It's terrible news for all of us fans. It's terrible news for Steph. But the NBA, based on his best case, seems hard to believe that he'll be in that Christmas Day game against the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant. You can pretty much probably rule out the rest of this road trip for sure, which goes from today through next Wednesday. So that's already that would be 1 week timeline. He said best case 1 to 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to rush it, even if it is good news. So probably out the rest of the road trip, almost certainly out for Christmas. And then if you want to look at worst case scenario, where he stated that would be something in the neighborhood of 7 weeks, I mean, you're looking at February.
The All-Star break, basically.
You're looking at February.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, yikes.
And that would be
that is season altering.
If
that's
it's
season
a
altering.
partial labral tear, if there is a dislocation and the labrum is partially torn, then yeah, you might be looking at that. And I don't think that surgery would be necessary, but the MRI will show all of that. And if you get to that spot where he's going to be out 6 to 7 to 8 weeks, yet now we're looking at a different way to approach everything, including the trade deadline.
I mean, Jordan Poole, you're up, man. Like I don't know any other way to say this, and we'll get to this a little bit more later on in the show. I think we'll circle back to this because this does lead to a conversation that I'll just be upfront. Like there's a portion of it that I get a little uncomfortable with because I can't psychoanalyze Jordan Poole. I don't know Jordan Poole. I haven't talked to him.
I've heard that.
Right? I don't know.
You don't know Jordan Poole.
I don't. I don't. it's the Draymond punch. It's this. It's the contra. I have no clue what's going on. Something going on. Something looks different. And if you're going to get that bag, then with great power comes great responsibility.
I like that.
And so if Steph's going to miss time and the Warriors' record is teetering on an uncomfortable number, you got to go win some basketball games. And I don't think it's unfair for the Warriors to ask Jordan Poole to be able to do that. I don't mean by himself. Clay's there. Wiggins should be back soon. Even without Steph, they should be able to win some basketball games.
Yeah.
But not if he's playing like he is now.
He's not playing great, and he's shooting it at levels that are almost approaching his rookie year. His rookie year was one of the worst years that you can look at in the association in terms of effective field goal percentage and overall field goal percentage. He shot 40.6% of effective field goal percentage his rookie year. The subsequent years, 53.5, 54.8. That's why you got that big bag. This year, he's at 50.6% effective field goal percentage, but his raw field goal percentage numbers are way down.
Yep.
42% from the floor, 32% from three.
Ugh.
And the one that really sticks out to me, Mark, and this is one where I think that a lot of this is mental, he's shooting 86% from the foul line. He led the league last year.
Yeah, that's a great point.
At 92.5. And that, as you know, being a former basketball player, that's the one thing that is an unstoppable action. It's maybe the only unstoppable action in all of sports, other than the intentional walk.
What's the most mental sport in the world? Most would tell you it's golf. Why? Because you're standing there by yourself. There's no defense. Right?
Defense.
I mean, there's wind. I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes a bug lands on your ball right when you're about to hit it. But it's mental, man. And free throw shooting is absolutely the same way when you have this kind of when you have the kind of talent that he has. So the good news for him, dude, you can forget this whole starter bench start thing. You're starter now.
Good call.
Is it 3 weeks? Is it 6 weeks? I don't know. But you're starter now. So get that whole thing out of your head and realize the responsibility that's in play. And when you are on the floor, you're going to have other great scorers around you. You don't need to dribble around like a mad person trying to throw up some wild layup. Like, you move the ball, like, get into your flow. Hopefully, this is a blessing in disguise for Jordan Poole. I want to make sure. I hope he looks at this as an opportunity rather than a responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wonder, and again, I don't know Jordan Poole, as Priest would tell us. He told you that, but he might as well have been telling me that. And I can't get inside of Jordan Poole's head and be able to determine just how much the Draymond Green punch that he took has affected the way he's gone about approaching this season. I don't know if anybody knows outside of Jordan Poole.
Jordan may not know.
Right.
I mean,
what I do know is that he's not playing this year the way he played last year,
Yep.
nor is he playing the way that he played the year before. The one thing we know about Jordan Poole from last year was this whole notion of money time. And it wasn't that he was chasing the money. He was loving playing. He was loving kind of being the wannabe third Splash Brother. He played with joy. He played with freedom, reckless abandon, all the rest of it. This year, I'm not seeing that. He's playing, he's pressing a lot more. You talked about it, and Bonte loves to say, dribble, 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 dribble. And he's right, because he's over-dribbling on almost every possession.
Yeah, there's something going on. Feels like there's a documentary happening right now in front of us. We just don't have a narrator. I don't know.
Yeah.
The story will come out at some point.